Have you ever walked through a forest, or perhaps along a quiet shoreline, and felt that you were part of something much larger than yourself? There is a hum of activity all around us. A silent, intricate dance of life and energy that connects every living thing. This bustling, interconnected world is what we call an ecosystem. It is a community where plants, animals, other organisms, live and interact with each other, as well as with their physical surroundings. An ecosystem can be as vast as the great Amazon rainforest, or as small and contained as a single drop of pond water, teeming with microscopic life. Each one is a world unto itself, a complex and beautiful system. The concept might seem vast, but at its heart, it is remarkably simple. Think of it as a household, a community where everyone and everything has a role to play. There are those who create the food, those who consume it, those who tidy up afterwards, ensuring nothing goes to waste. And then there is the house itself, the air, the water, the soil, the sunlight that bathes it all. Every element, from the tallest tree, to the tiniest bacterium, from the heat of the sun, to the minerals in the earth, is a vital thread in a grand, living tapestry. Every story must have a beginning. And in the story of an ecosystem, that beginning starts with a remarkable act of creation. The energy that fuels all life on Earth originates from a single distant source, our sun. However, most living things cannot use this raw solar power directly. This is where the first and perhaps most vital group of organisms comes into play: the producers. These are the green architects of our world. The quiet, unassuming life forms that perform a kind of everyday magic. They are the plants, algae, some types of bacteria, that have the extraordinary ability to capture sunlight and transform it into food. Photosynthesis. Imagine a single blade of grass, or a leaf on a mighty oak tree. Within its cells are tiny green structures called chloroplasts, which act as miniature solar panels. Using just water, carbon dioxide from the air, and the energy from sunlight, these producers create sugars, a form of chemical energy. This energy is not only for their own growth and survival, it becomes the foundational food source for almost every other living thing in the ecosystem. They are the base of the food web, the very first link in the great chain of life. Without producers, the flow of energy would stop before it even began, and life as we know it simply could not exist. Once the producers have captured the sun's energy and stored it as food, the next chapter in the ecosystem story begins. This is where the consumers enter the stage. As their name suggests, consumers are organisms that cannot produce their own food. To get the energy they need to live, grow, reproduce, they must consume or eat other organisms. Every animal, from the smallest insect to the largest blue whale, is a consumer. They are the movers and shakers of the ecosystem, responsible for distributing the energy that the producers first created. They are a diverse and dynamic group, each adapted in its own unique way to find and acquire its food. The journey of energy from one organism to another is often described as a food chain. It begins with a producer, which is then eaten by a consumer. For instance, a caterpillar might munch on a leaf. The caterpillar, a consumer, has now taken in the energy the leaf stored. Then a small bird might swoop down and eat the caterpillar. As we delve deeper into the world of consumers, we find that they are not all the same. They can be broadly categorized based on what they eat. The first of these groups are the herbivores. These are the plant eaters, the primary consumers who feed directly on the producers. Think of a giraffe gracefully stripping leaves from an acacia tree, a rabbit nibbling on clover in a meadow, or a manatee slowly grazing on seagrass in a coastal estuary. Herbivores are the essential bridge, the first step in transferring the sun's energy from the plant world to the animal world. Next in the chain are the carnivores, the meat-eaters. These consumers get their energy by eating other animals. A lion stalking a zebra, a spider trapping a fly in its web, or a great white shark hunting a seal. Some carnivores, known as predators, actively hunt their prey. Others, known as scavengers like vultures and hyenas, play an equally important role by feeding on the remains of animals that have died, ensuring that no energy is wasted. Then there are the omnivores, the opportunists of the natural world. Omnivores are consumers that eat a mixed diet of both plants and animals. A bear, for example, might feast on berries and roots in the summer, but also catch fish from a river. These different types of consumers create a complex and interconnected food web, rather than a simple straight chain. The story of energy flow does not end when an organism dies. In nature, nothing is ever truly wasted. This is where the final group of essential players makes its appearance, the decomposers. They are the unsung heroes of the ecosystem, the master recyclers who work quietly behind the scenes. Decomposers are organisms, primarily fungi, bacteria, that break down dead organic matter. This includes dead plants, fallen leaves, the bodies of deceased animals, waste products. They are nature's cleanup crew, and their work is absolutely vital for the continuation of life. When a leaf falls to the forest floor, decomposers get to work. A mushroom sprouting from a decaying log is a visible sign of this process in action. The fungus extends a vast, hidden network of threads called mycelium through the wood, slowly digesting it. Similarly, countless millions of bacteria in the soil are constantly breaking down organic matter, turning it into humus. This breakdown is not just about tidying up, it is about returning essential nutrients to the ecosystem. They take the end of one life and turn it into the building blocks for a new beginning. They connect the end of the food chain right back to the very start, ensuring a continuous supply of raw materials for the producers. While the interactions between producers, consumers, and decomposers form the vibrant drama of an ecosystem, this play does not unfold in a vacuum. It takes place on a stage, and the characteristics of that stage are defined by the non-living or abiotic components of the environment. The most fundamental of these is sunlight, the ultimate source of energy that we have seen producers capture so brilliantly. Water is another absolutely critical non-living component. Life on Earth is fundamentally water-based. Every living cell requires it. Vast ocean, rushing river, quiet pond, rainfall on the plains. A desert ecosystem with its scarce water supports organisms like cacti and camels that are specially adapted to conserve every precious drop. In stark contrast, a rainforest, drenched in daily downpours, is home to an astonishingly rich diversity of life that thrives in the constant moisture. The air we breathe, and the atmosphere that surrounds our planet are also vital abiotic factors. The atmosphere provides the carbon dioxide that plants need for photosynthesis, and the oxygen that animals require for respiration. It also helps to regulate the planet's temperature, protecting life from the extreme cold of space and the intense heat of the sun, dispersing seeds and pollen, shaping the growth of trees, driving ocean currents. The very climate of a region, its typical patterns of temperature and precipitation, is a result of these atmospheric and solar interactions. Finally, the land itself, soil, rocks, topography. These non-living elements are active participants, constantly interacting with living organisms and shaping every ecosystem on Earth. Now that we have met the individual players, producers, consumers, decomposers, the non-living stage, we can begin to appreciate the true beauty of the ecosystem, the intricate dance of how they all work together. It is a system of profound interdependence where each part is inextricably linked to the others. The producers, as we know, depend on the non-living elements, the sunlight for energy, the water for sustenance, the carbon dioxide from the air, the nutrients in the soil that are provided by the decomposers. Without this abiotic foundation, the producers could not exist, and the entire food web would collapse before it even started. The consumers, in turn, are completely dependent on the producers. Herbivores must have plants to eat. Carnivores must have herbivores or other carnivores to eat. This creates a flow of energy that moves through the ecosystem, a chain of dependence that links predator and prey, grazer and grass. But the connection is not a one-way street. Consumers also impact the producers and their environment. Grazing animals can prevent forests from encroaching on grasslands, maintaining the open savanna. Predators, by controlling herbivore populations, prevent those plants from being overeaten, thus protecting the producers. The decomposers form the crucial link that closes the loop. In breaking down this dead material, they perform their most vital service, releasing nutrients back into the soil. These nutrients are then absorbed by the roots of plants, allowing the producers to grow and thrive once more. This beautiful, continuous cycle of nutrients, from the soil to the plants to the animals, and back to the soil via the decomposers, is the engine of sustainability in nature. We, as human beings, are not separate from this intricate web of life. We are an integral part of it. Our societies, our economies, and our very survival depend on the services that healthy ecosystems provide. They produce the oxygen we breathe, clean the water we drink, pollinate the crops we eat, and regulate the climate that makes our planet habitable. We are consumers and shapers of ecosystems on a global scale. Unfortunately, human activities are placing unprecedented strain on the planet's ecosystems. Deforestation, pollution, climate change. We are pulling at the threads of the tapestry of life, and we are beginning to see it unravel. We now have a profound responsibility to understand our impact and to act as stewards, not just exploiters, of the natural world. The path forward begins with curiosity and respect. We can support conservation efforts that protect keystone species and critical habitats. We can work to reduce our own consumption, minimize waste, and transition to cleaner sources of energy. Simple actions, when taken collectively, can have a powerful positive effect. A healthy planet with thriving, diverse ecosystems is more resilient, more productive, and infinitely more beautiful. The future of the grand tapestry of life and our own place within it is in our hands. It is a responsibility we must all share and a privilege we must all cherish.